Okay. All right. Okay. So, hey, this is Professor Science here, guys, and I wanted to really hit you with some information. And I was going to take my sweet ass time to do this, but there's some interesting things going on. And I want to could you hit me with what just happened with you on your way back?
I was just driving and a car right in front of me slammed on its brakes, and it's a very narrow two-lane road, and I slammed the brakes, had to pull into the opposing road. Thank God there was no cars coming because that's how fast. And I turned to the right to see why they stopped, and a herd of doe out of the blue is charging moving vehicles and literally getting ready to sideswipe my car. Like, we're not stopping. I literally slam on the horn, and thankfully it got their attention enough. They all stopped, turned around about 6 foot, and just stopped right in the field. Did completely unnormal activity in the middle of the day. They should have ran away, and they should not have been charging moving vehicles, which is what they were doing.
Right, right. And the reason this is so significant is because I want to explain to you guys some things about stellar physics, about geomagnetism, and I'm going to do it as quickly and as easily as I possibly can. Okay, so you guys know the big ball of light in the sky, the sun. Well, it goes through its maximums and its minimums. There's this one cycle of it, a grand cycle that's about a 204-year cycle that also correlates exactly with the Atlantic decadal oscillation, basically the driver of the El Nino and La Nina cycles. I'll put a lot of documentation so you guys can look at all the peer-reviewed journals about this information that is inarguably the way it is. Now, that being said, the reason I started this channel, and if you know my other channel, joeblundell.com, a lot of Lakota Lodge songs, 3D printed videos, and things like that. Now, I want to talk to you guys about what happened about 5 days ago. We had a series of massive upper M class flares, one with a coronal mass ejection. Then we had three X flares, two of them with very large coronal mass ejections. One of them about topped out the charts. We hadn't seen anything that big in 14 years until this morning when we had an X12 to an X20. It you're lucky it wasn't the face of the earth, or you wouldn't be hearing me say this to you right now. Quite literally, it was a shotgun blast of power that consumed half of the solar system. So we live by this thing that starts bubbling. And during the minimum part of the cycle, oh, hey, minimum, it shouldn't be so bad, right? No, the minimum is the most dangerous time. Why? Well, think about spaghetti sauce. When you got spaghetti sauce and it's nice and it's well heated up and it's just simmer on the stove, a lot of little splatters and pops, and you might get a little spaghetti sauce that you have to clean up off the around the stove, right? But the viscosity of the liquid is so high that the gases can't build up and cause those big blur and those big explosions, right? Well, in the minimum part of the cycle, the exterior of the sun is getting cooler and cooler, and the viscosity is going down and down. And it's allowing, obviously, much larger flares to be able to be built up. Now, why is this important? Why? Because exactly 204 years ago was the 1811-12 New Madrid earthquake sequence. And I can also show that that was also at the end of the last great solar minimum that was rife with sunspots and more than likely massive solar flare and coronal mass ejection material directed at the Earth. Not only directed at the Earth towards, well, just the whole planet, but low pressure systems really channel these things into the earth, into the tectonics. And it literally sits there like a charge waiting to dissipate, either through outgoing long wave radiation, through volcanic activity, or through slippage, through earthquakes, and just the relieving of that. That being said, here is where that 8.1 I accurately predicted the other day was, and I believe it to be at actually the base of the New Madrid. A lot of people will not like this, but the Cascadia subduction zone isn't the largest in the world. It is the New Madrid. Why? Because it starts down there and runs all the way up to the Great Lakes. You don't see it here because obviously an iridium meteor has vitrified all the silicate minerals into a big patch. You get a lot of mud volcano activity all around this highly pressurized area, but it's still the New Madrid's fault system. And this plate with Hurricane Irma here took all that X9's charge, is taking all the glancing glow from this X12, X20, put whatever amazing, ridiculous number you want there. And you've got a massive load charging event here. So it's a tectonic plate. You might as well call it a dielectric plate. You got a dielectric plate with a charge here. You got a dielectric plate without a charge here, and you get the Mississippi River as the dielectric medium. And well, let's speak about Mississippi real quick. We had Harvey roll over this, dump 15, 16 inches of rain right over the epicenter of the New Madrid. We've got Irma coming in right now, loading, dumping tons of rain, planning on dumping a ton in Tennessee, and it's just weighting this down. It's filling it full of energy. Man, this thing's gonna let loose. And I don't know what would cause a herd of deer to run right down the middle of the road in broad daylight, but it's happening, and we're here in the Ozarks. We're not too dang far away from this area. We're on a safer side, but it's still there. Now, that being said, I want to point out that there were several hurricanes, actually two specifically that I could say proceeded and went right over the New Madrid fault area. And if I started going through all these, maybe there were several more in the next year. But you got the hurricanes, you got the solar flares, the very large ejecta type that would occur during a minima. You've got the sunspot cycles that drive everything. You got your 204-year cycles. You got the liquefaction of the New Madrid setup. It really looks like a perfect storm, but you know what? It's actually just a perfect repeat of history. You guys ever hear the Native American creation myths? Yeah, you live on Turtle Island. A lot of people don't know this, but Turtle Island has a broken back, and it spends a lot of time up above the water, but then the turtle will go down and spax breaks, and all of it fills back with water. And let me show you, when I say all, you're looking at an area here that will be water. That you'll have an Ozark Plateau and this area and several areas out here in the east. There's going to be some beautiful island chains in the Tennessee River Valley. It really will be beautiful. I mean, I'm not saying there isn't going to be some rocking and rolling before this all goes down, but I'm just saying this country is built on feet of sand. Like the entire kit and caboodle of this Washishu way of life is very temporary and transitory. There's a lot better way to build your homes as well, folks. There are technologies that you can incorporate that will give you homes that in no way kill you when the earth starts shaking. Earthquakes are amazing things in the fact that they're the only natural disaster that don't kill you. They don't kill you. It's the man made structures falling on you that kill you. It's the poor construction. It is the ignorance that kills people in earthquakes. That's it, pure and simple. So you get some shaking. If you want to rebuild where you don't have to worry about going to sleep at night and not waking up in the morning, why don't you choose a geodesic? There's a lot of different companies that do it, but I would suggest my design. It's a self-heating and cooling one. No one else has anything like that. thecorehome.com, and send me a message if you want to be put on the mailing list when we roll out our mass production model. But other than that, I'm just trying to give you guys a little bit of a heads up on how you might be able to live, thrive, live, thrive, and survive in really adverse conditions. What was that? Let me talk about food and water real quick. Food, a lot of people don't know this. This is the sacred and holy tree of life, according to the Assyrians, the Hindus, the Zoroastrian religions, the list goes on and on. It's ubiquitous throughout all major world religions. In fact, it's Christianity also has the tree of life as this. What is this? Well, it's the sacred and holy tree of life. The most complete food, the most nutritionally complete food source in the world. It has all your omegas 3s, 6s, and 9s. In fact, the human endocrine system used to be called the endocrine cannabinoid system before the illegalization of it, the illegal illegalization in 1936. Anybody that tells you, "Oh man, you're a hippie because you like," no, you like to have food, water, clothing, medicine, and shelter for your children, don't you? You like to be able to feed them in adverse conditions. You would like your family to stay alive, wouldn't you? Well, you really like the tree of life then. That's your ally. That's how you rebuild from, dare I say, the cataclysms getting ready to come. Because you know what? I'd actually made a video about this last night before the X20 erupted, and I had said it in my video last night, but the static was so high from, I'm guessing, the proton interference that you couldn't hear a word I said in the video. So I'm redoing it now. But in the video, I do give this warning. This is the new norm, guys. For the next, for the next, well, 5, what is that? Yeah, a good 5 years of the ramping up. We are going to be under the gun. This is stellar physics. This is a normal cycle. You just have to be prepared for it. And that includes building right, thinking right, eating right, doing right. And that includes everything you see, everything you say, everything you touch should either be for the upliftment of everyone around you, or should it be for your own selfish greed? You get to pick. You pick one. You can pick to be however you want to be. I'm just telling you that it's going to take a lot of people pulling together. It's going to take a lot of people getting their heads out of their backsides and starting to understand how colossally you have been lied to. That the greatest source of food ever in the history of man, period, exclamation point, has been sold to you as the most evil drug known to civilizations worldwide. This is patently absurd, and I have $1,000 in silver for anyone that can prove to me that Kanish Basham is not the sacred and holy tree of life. I open-ended invitation. I've been saying that for 10 years. No one's taken my silver and no one ever will, because the facts are in. I have thousands of years of empirical scientific data that let me know what the tree of life is. So let the debate begin and let the earth roll.